You think you know what makes someone attractive. Good looks, a nice smile, a fit body. But you're wrong. Those things can help, sure, but they're not what makes someone truly magnetic. The truth is, attractiveness is about 70% psychology and only 30% physical appearance. Once you understand the psychology, you'll finally get why some objectively beautiful people get ignored while others, who might seem average-looking, command every room they enter. Here's what's really going on inside your brain. The first psychological truth that shatters our conventional understanding is this: your brain doesn't evaluate attractiveness objectively. It evaluates it contextually. The very same person can be rated as dramatically more or less attractive, depending on who they're standing next to, what they're doing, or how they carry themselves. Attractiveness isn't some fixed quality you either have or you don't. It's a perception that shifts based on psychological cues your brain processes in real time. Think about it. Research from the University of Texas showed that people rated as average in photos were rated significantly higher after just a brief conversation. Their attractiveness literally increased once their personality was revealed. Meanwhile, physically attractive people who displayed negative personality traits were rated lower than their photos. Your brain is constantly recalculating attractiveness based on behavior, not just appearance. This means that attractiveness is something you can increase, or frankly, destroy through psychology alone. So let's break down these psychological factors. The first one is confidence, but not the loud, performative kind you might be thinking of. The real confidence that makes someone attractive is the quiet certainty that they don't need your approval. People who are genuinely comfortable with themselves create a kind of gravitational pull because they aren't seeking validation from others. They're just existing. And in a world of constant performance, just existing without that neediness is so rare that it reads as magnetic. Here's why this works. Your brain is wired to be attracted to emotional stability. Someone who needs constant reassurance feels like work. Someone who's secure in themselves feels like a relief. You're not attracted to arrogance. You're attracted to the absence of neediness. When someone's sense of worth isn't dependent on your opinion of them, your brain unconsciously categorizes them as high status. And high status has been attractive across every culture and every era in human history. The second factor is pre-selection. Your brain uses social proof as a shortcut to determine attractiveness. If other people find someone attractive, your brain just assumes they must be. This is why a person can suddenly become more attractive the moment you find out that other people want them. It's not just about jealousy. It's your brain using the collective judgment of others to save itself the effort of evaluating everything from scratch. It's like the cheerleader effect in reverse. People look more attractive when they're surrounded by people who are attracted to them. A person sitting alone at a bar reads as less attractive than that exact same person surrounded by a group of engaged, laughing friends. Nothing about their face changed. But the context told your brain they're valued, and valued equals attractive. The third psychological factor is mystery and strategic unavailability. People who are completely open and available right from the start often become less attractive over time. It's not because there's anything wrong with them, but because your brain loses interest when there's nothing left to discover. Mystery creates curiosity. Curiosity can create obsession. And obsession often feels a lot like attraction. This is why playing hard to get actually works when it's done correctly. It's not about playing games. It's about not giving someone complete access to you immediately. When someone has to work just a little bit to get your time, your attention, or your approval, your brain codes you as more valuable. Scarcity creates value. Total availability creates comfort. And comfort is not the same as attraction. The fourth factor is passion and purpose. People who are deeply invested in something outside of relationships are significantly more attractive than people whose entire life revolves around finding a partner. When you have a mission, a craft, an obsession that truly matters to you, you radiate an intensity that others find magnetic. You're not looking for another person to give your life meaning, because you already have meaning. And that independence is psychologically irresistible. Your brain is attracted to people who are going somewhere. Direction is attractive. Stagnation is repellent. Even if the person going somewhere is objectively less physically attractive, their forward momentum creates a psychological pull that beauty alone simply cannot match. This is why successful people, passionate artists, and driven entrepreneurs are so often seen as attractive beyond their physical appearance. They're attractive because they're focused on something bigger than themselves. Now for the fifth factor, emotional contrast. People who can make you feel a whole range of emotions are more attractive than people who are just consistently pleasant and predictable. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but it's neurologically true. Someone who makes you laugh, challenges you, maybe even frustrates you occasionally. This is the dark truth about why toxic people can sometimes feel so attractive. They create emotional intensity through their unpredictability. Your brain confuses the stress response with excitement. The adrenaline from all that uncertainty feels like passion. This is also why completely stable, kind people can sometimes feel boring. They don't activate your nervous system in the same way. Understanding this doesn't mean you should chase chaos. It just means you should recognize that attraction and long-term health aren't always aligned. The sixth factor is about how someone makes you see yourself. The most attractive people are the ones who make you feel like a better version of yourself when you're around them. Not because they're flattering you, but because their presence somehow elevates how you show up in the world. They see qualities in you that you want to embody. They believe in the versions of you that you're still working on becoming. This is why people describe falling in love as feeling like they've finally found someone who truly sees them. It's not that the person sees you objectively. It's that they see the potential in you that you desperately want to believe exists. And that mirror of your aspirational self is psychologically intoxicating. You're not just attracted to them. You're attracted to who you become when you're with them. And finally, the seventh and most powerful factor of all, the social proof of your own interest. The moment you decide someone is attractive, your brain starts finding evidence to support that conclusion. You start noticing little things about them you didn't notice before. You interpret their behaviors more favorably. You begin to build a case for why they're special. Attraction is partially self-fulfilling because your brain confirms your initial assessment through selective attention. This is why attraction can grow over time with someone you didn't even notice at first. Your brain wasn't looking for their attractive qualities. But once something triggers your interest, your perception shifts, and suddenly you see them in a completely different light. Same person, different psychological lens. Your brain just needed a reason to activate it. So, what does all of this mean in a practical sense? It means that physical appearance opens the door, but it's psychology that determines whether anyone actually walks through it and decides to stay. You can be beautiful and repellent if your psychology is needy, insecure, or chaotic. And you can be average-looking and absolutely magnetic if your psychology is confident, purposeful, and emotionally stable. The people who understand this stop obsessing over their physical appearance and start working on the psychological factors that actually create lasting attraction. Attraction isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding what your brain is actually responding to, and then becoming the psychological version of that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more psychology that changes how you see everything. And let me know in the comments, what makes someone attractive to you beyond their physical appearance?